Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Normal Magician podcast. My name is Marcus Mattern. I'm a magic teacher, and today we're joined with Bruno. Bruno, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Marcos. Thank you for having me here. Hi, guys. My name is Bruno. I'm from Brazil. I've been practicing magic for since I was a teenager, but now I have been really intense about it. And I'm here to talk about Marcos, about his experience and what's next.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it is called the Normal Magician podcast, but Bruno is your normal average Brazilian who successfully completed the Abramelin. So he is has a notch under his belt and has some amazing experiences. And I've been very excited to interview him for a while. So I'm really ready to get going. So Bruno, what inspired you to take an interest in spirituality in general and magic in particular?
Well, I've always been a very curious one, ever since I was a child. And I'll see all these different religions and different ways of communing with the divine. And at first, I thought it was really weird because I was under the impression that what I learned before was the only way. But well, actually, if I'm being quite honest, the moment I really started to look for spirituality was when I was forced to do my first communion. Here in Brazil, I think it's everywhere like this. If you want to do first communion, you have to go to a Catholic school and go Catholicism. I don't know if that's a thing there in the US.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, catechism, exactly. You have to for a year and a half, and then you have to go to the church so they can receive the first communion. And since I was forced into it, and as a child, I was naturally rebellious. And I started digging around, and I had some issues with the church, and I did not understand anything about Christianity or spirituality back then. So I thought, well, I don't know anything about this, so let's find out. And I think I was like 10 years old at the time, and I was revolted with being obligated to do a specific ritual that I did not understand or even want because I was a child at that point. So I just started researching, and one thing led to another, and it's been like 22 years.
Oh, that's
that
great.
decision.
So you were forced into a ritual because of being Catholic, and so you're like, wait, what am I getting into here? How do rituals work? What is this doing to me?
And why must I do this? Because your culture imposes on you. So I was the rebellious teen who was revolting against the fates of his forefathers with pretty standard stuff.
Cool. So did you?
But that led to a good point.
Yeah. So in that revolt, did that lead you? How did that lead you into magic?
Well, here in Brazil, there is not many places you can go to buy magic books, especially in the 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the only place I knew online who had a lot of books where you could buy, and at that time was Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like I think it was 14 to 15 or 15 to 16,
mm-hmm.
I took my mother's credit card and bought a bunch of books. Some of them were very good, some of them were not very good, but
mm-hmm.
it just fascinated me.
Mm.
All these different ways, and I was like, well, this way of living seems so beautiful, like so filled with the magic and all the spirits, everything you can learn from the universe, and not just from what's around you.
Yeah.
But through regular books. And I was quite rebellious, so I really focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like 16. I started to do like these mini rituals that I saw in the books, and it wasn't really feeling much, but I know I remember I felt something, but It would only be much later when would actually practice the rituals and understand the rituals. I had some on and off against with spirituality throughout my life because, well, I was like a teenager.
Yeah,
I had so much I had so much to live here in Earth before I could understand and practice this. So
wonderful. And when you were buying those books, did you go straight for angel magic? Did you try to rebel harder and go for demon magic? Were you looking at elementals?
That just seemed like really far away from me. So I was like, I had some run-ins with this student from the Kabbalah Center, and she recommended me the Kabbalah Center, some of the books. So my first books were a bit about the Hebrew Kabbalah, some ceremonial magic, like how to create talismans and things like that. There's this huge talisman list. Some had like basic energy exercises, like grounding, ascending energy, by moving to the stages of your body.
Yeah.
And I actually have them right here as well. Some have like these Kabbalistic rituals that I did without really knowing what I was doing. And but thankfully I did some good rituals.
Good.
It wasn't anything dark or.
And what were that's perfect. It leads us right into the next question. What were the first practices and rituals that got you started that really opened up magic for you?
When I was younger, or do you mean now when I really settled into it?
I guess what were the first rituals that really got you to the point where you were practicing magic regularly? Like even if you stopped and took a break later, like the first time that you regularly practiced magic, what were the rituals and practices that started you?
Well, I was really early in my study career, so I had what I read about the pentagon rituals, and I remember I tried it once, and I felt this weird silence around me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm onto something now," but I had like no idea. But when I first started like really practicing, because like I did a bunch of studying because I didn't really know how to put this into actual ritual work or how to integrate this with my life. So I studied a lot before I actually started to practice. But it was with the pension rituals when I actually understood what they were for. And later hexagram rituals and, well, the golden dawn rituals.
Wonderful.
And modern magic style magic.
Love it. My kind of magic. That's how we met. So
yeah.
So what were the first major challenges and hurdles with you going through your journey in magic?
Well, if you're going to like do this every day, as the curriculum suggests, you would a lot of time.
Yeah, totally.
Well, like my girlfriend at the time, she wasn't really too favorable of me doing this. And well, my parents thought it was super weird. I was invoking angels in my bedroom because of the LBRPs and further progresses. But it was okay really, because like what I found challenging at times was not skipping a day and feeling my mind go through all of these scenarios on why I should not do the ritual today or tomorrow. Some were good scenarios, some were very bad. And just being able to know the flow of my mind. That was the challenge, because it's really easy to tuck yourself out of a daily practice. But I had a really good experience, and I'm really grateful to it and for sticking to it, actually. But yeah, some personal challenges in my life, like some relationships revealing them as they actually are, so, some appearing out of nowhere, and all those shifts you feel when you start to stabilize your practice a bit.
Totally. Yeah, I experienced that myself to a very large degree. So I can totally relate. It's difficult to, just develop the discipline. I feel like discipline is just the most essential quality. If you can develop discipline, you can apply that to literally every part of your life that you want to improve.
Exactly.
And magic. Exactly. So how long did it take you to feel like you're a magician? And what was the success or experience that made you feel that way?
Well, it took me a while
Mm-hmm.
because we all have the image of the magus, the ultimate mage, all powerful. And when we realize like it's nothing like that, it's like that's how you view it before you understand what it is. And
Exactly.
when I found myself changing through those daily rituals, which, to be fair, at that point, I wasn't really expecting much of a spiritual manifestation or actual entities. Or
Mm-hmm.
I was really experiencing these shifts inside of me,
Mm.
different ways of looking at things, of feeling things, of exploring things. That's when I feel that, well, I'm releasing so much baggage and so much pain. The further I go into it, the more intense I do, the better I feel. I was like, well, I'm going with this, That's when I started to happen. When actually there was one day I went with a friend of mine to these waterfalls
Mm-hmm.
near my city, and I remember just feeling nature on a deeper and more fundamental level. Like
Yes.
not saying I heard their voices, but I could feel what the energy was there about, and I could know things about people, like just these intuitions. I was like, okay, this is working. It's going a little fast, but I'm enjoying it. That's what I
Cool.
signed up for.
Yes, yes. Oh man, that is great. That is also a great distinction to make between the um hyperbolistic expectations that people sometimes go into when it comes to magic, and then realizing,
Yeah,
oh, I can sense energy, I can read people, I can influence the world around me. This is substantially changing my existence, even if it is subtle in some ways. And
yeah.
mhm,
I wasn't really looking for this, like changing the world
mhm,
or like getting more money or this and
mhm,
that. I was really just so delighted that I could change myself on this level with this much awareness and joy. And I was like, that's why I was doing it. Like that's why I stuck with it. It wasn't really anything about it externally. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
the joy of self-transformation is so incredible. If you can cultivate that, there's just no no end to where you can go. I did want to ask, how long do you think you were practicing magic before you got to that state?
well,
Like every day.
every day,
Mm-hmm.
like 6 months,
Good, good.
a little earlier, because like I was really focused on it. So when I was not
Mhm,
doing the rituals, I was studying the rituals and what would do, or how there's different forms of magic, like
mhm,
from these older sources like grimoires to the more modern sources, to even chaos magic, like everything.
mhm,
And I always interests me how all of them interconnect in some level,
mhm.
and how to know one is to know the other. And if you know the one and the other, you know the whole much better. You can like experience it on a deeper level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I talk about that as triangulation. Like if you get two different perspectives on a thing, you have a much more three-dimensional idea of what it is. So
Yeah,
that's fantastic. And I've seen that with a number of people practicing magic. Some people just go into it full on, practicing magic every single day and reading about it for hours a day. And that real
yeah,
combination of study and practice, when you're super dedicated, you can make a lot of progress really fast when you have that passion. So
yeah.
wonderful.
Exactly. If your heart is in the right place, if you like,
Hmm.
you're taking the necessary precautions so you can, release some of what you are messing with. Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how has magic affected the other people in your life, your job, where you live, your external circumstances in general?
Well, to put it in simple words, it has changed everything that I about my experience with everything. Yeah, I know this sounds redundant, but uh, for me, like sure, my exteriors has improved. My whole life is doing much better right now. I have more focus, more energy. I have better sleep recollection, and everything you're supposed to expect. But what really hit it for me was that the way I related to each and every one of those things changed dramatically. It is much lighter today to do and everything and be everything, and to change it as well. It's that's the most beautiful part for me, is that it has brought joy on a more, deeper level, not just the happiness towards the outside objects, but the inner ones as well. So like there's a lot more stress, like inner stress, in my thoughts and emotions, and everything is much clearer now.
Yeah,
It's
Absolutely.
very wonderful ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've experienced something myself. I still experience a lot of inner stress because I'm very hard at pushing myself, but the ability to adjust to it, to go into it or out of it, is so exceptional. I like it to, playing a game, and if you're losing at a game, it's stressful, even though the game is irrelevant, it doesn't matter. But you can take a step away from the game, away from the table, and realize, oh, I'm totally fine. Everything's fine. And then you can go back to it, re-engage, reinvigorated. And I find that a lot with magic and spirituality, that all the times I still feel stress about myself or my life situation, but the ability to rise above it and to take a more balanced look at it is so reinvigorating, and helps to really give me perspective and allow me to engage in myself and the world in a much more productive way.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's less tension in everything now, so everything just flows better. It's kind of obvious, but yeah, like you think there's this whole, like, you study a lot, all of these rituals, and then you come to these really basic understandings about life, and you're like, duh.
Yes.
But well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about magic. It's so complicated, but what it leads you to is so incredibly simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So next question, what further changes do you hope to make to yourself, your life, and your world through magic? Where do you want to go with magic?
Well, this is a very weird question for me, because like when I started on this path, I thought I wouldn't go much farther. Like I loved it, but it all felt like alien to me. And like I never expected for once to do the Abramelin ritual. I wanted to, but like all these talks about holy guardian angels, conjurations, and just felt so far off. And I was like, yeah, it would be cool to get there one day, but I don't know. But like now, like what I want to go, man, I'm going to go. I don't know yet. Like I've been feeling this for a while. Like I've been studying. Like, sure. Like, what should I do now? Like I'm actually studying Enochian magic, so I really want to like delve into it, as well as Solomonics, but more Enochian at this point. Go through the ethers, like develop sight and vision, and I want to perform the Apocalypse ritual, which is basically just one giant ascent up to and after the ethers. And I want to share what I've been learning, like, but I've been practicing so much, studying a lot also, that it's been hard to do just that, just to stop and write about it. I want to be able to do that as well, like share what I've learned from friends and people that are excited to do magic with.
Absolutely.
And and keep doing the work, man. Like you have to keep polishing it forever. That's the thing. There's no such thing as a solar body that is too luminous.
Exactly. Yeah,
and help others do the same, and just see them go through the transformations in their lives as I went through. It was a very, very beautiful experience, and supposed to be that way.
Absolutely.
And to help others get there, that would be like, just passing on the torch.
Yeah, that's been my experience. I'm so excited to help other people. I find that whenever I'm helping another person, I'm in the moment actively helping a part of myself.
Exactly. There's also that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So before we wrap up, I don't want to profane the experience to an extent, but what can you share about Aaron Leach's Abramelin course?
I'm really grateful to Aaron. Like, it's hard to put into words because, like, he helped me make it possible to reach her. And there's no way I could express gratitude for this in words. It's like when I joined Aaron course, I was much. I had studied a lot less than I do now,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he explained everything, he paved the way to like the best experience of my life. So it's impossible not to leave like so many stars as referrals to him and his work, like not just Abramelin, but the Solomonics course.
Mm-hmm.
That course like helped me set the fundamentals to my preparation for the Abramelin.
Wonderful.
May God always bless the work of his hands. That's what I have to say about Aaron.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a shining endorsement. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wonderful.
It's impossible not to. Well, Marcus, thank you for having me here. It's been wonderful talking to you. Always is. It's nice to find people that are passionate to speak about this type of stuff and that are actually going to go and do the rituals and do the practice more than just scholarly, but practically as well. So always a pleasure.
Thank you, Bruno. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an amazing experience talking to you. I hope it has been for everyone listening. Thank you so much at home for listening. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and we'll hear more from more normal magicians in the future.